Hello, everyone. So glad you're joining us today. Today we are on day 25 of our video devotional series. Today we are going to be looking at Matthew chapter 6, and this is verse 33 and 34. It says, "Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." I love the Passion Translation here. It says, so above all, above everything, right? Constantly seek God's kingdom and his righteousness. And then all these less important things will be given to you abundantly. Refuse to worry about tomorrow, but deal with each challenge that comes your way one day at a time. Sometimes it's one moment at a time, right? We seem to know that to be true. Then he goes on, he says, tomorrow will take care of itself. I love this. This is from the Sermon on the Mount. This is one of my favorite teachings that Jesus does. This is found in the book of Matthew, and it is chapter 5 through 7 is where the whole Sermon on the Mount is found. But this particular one is found right in the middle at Matthew chapter 6. And what Jesus is doing here, you actually see a whole paragraph here where he's just talking about not worrying, and he uses these two images to illustrate a point. He talks about birds of the air, and then he talks about the lilies of the field. And, one of his main points here is he's saying all these things in the earth, like all these news articles, all these, social media posts, all these things, billboards, everything, they're going to be screaming for our attention. And they do, right? We know that to be true. They're definitely pretty loud sometimes, but we need to choose what is of the most important. And, he's saying, hey, we got to keep seeking the Lord. We got to keep seeking his kingdom and not worry about what's going to happen tomorrow, not worry about what happened yesterday or last year or whatever it is that's worrying you. And this was actually a pretty good one this week. Even for myself, as I was preparing, I had a very good friend of mine. She sent me a song by House Fires, and I've heard the song like 100 times, and I'm like, oh, cool. So anyway, so I'm just like, well, let me listen to it. So I listened to it. There's this one part of the song where it says, God is not worried, so why am I worried? And I've sang this, like I said, I've heard the song 100 times. I've sung it probably 100 times, but this time when I heard it, it like spoke to me. And it was like, why am I worrying about this that's going on in my life, or, or this other thing? Why am I worrying about that if God's not worried about it? He's not up there like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen or whatever. Like, he knows, right? He already knows what's going to happen. So I'll tell you, that was a song I've been singing in my spirit all week. God is not worried. Why am I worried? I actually made it into a background for my phones. Every time I pick up my phone and maybe I'm getting another message about this that's going on, or I'm getting another thing over here, what's going on, I see that as a constant reminder. And however long I have that on my phone for that, we'll see. But I need the reminder right now. God is not worried about this. He's not worried about that. Why am I worrying about it? Why am I taking it on? Why am I taking the weight of that? And I think there's so much that's so important. It's like we will sometimes get a doctor's report and it's like, we freak out and all that. But God's not worried about that doctor's report. Things may be going on at your job or in relationships that you have. And, it's like, and you feel the anxiety and the worry coming up and coming up. And if you quiet yourself today, like, telling you, friend, God's not worried about what it is you're going through. He's not worried about the situation that, that's unraveling before your eyes right now. He's not worried about it. Just to think about that. I can't really think of anything that God is worried about, and we need to trust him in that. We need to trust that he's going to get us through that. And that's why I love, especially in the Passion Translation, where it talks about, so above all, above everything, constantly. That means all the time, constantly seek God's kingdom and his righteousness, refusing to worry, but to bring those things before him. So that's what I had to do this week. I'm like, all right, Lord, I'm like, I could see myself starting to worry about some of these things. And so I started singing, and I'm just singing throughout the day. You can ask my husband, you can ask my kids, God is not worried. So why am I worried? Again and again and again. But for me, singing that and releasing it, it's like it's shifting my perspective. It's shifting my focus of what I am worrying on to, God's not worried about this. I got to trust him here. I have to trust him. That's been my common thing. That's an area I not constantly, but that is an area where I do struggle. It's definitely one of my weaknesses. And the Lord's helping me in that area. And he's saying, hey, you can trust me. But things happen. Here I am, teaching and leading this, but yet I still struggle with worry sometimes. And I'm sure you do as well. There's different seasons where that happens, but we just refocus. Hey, God has got this, right? And I am going to trust him. We need to say that. We need to speak that to ourselves sometimes. I love the amplified version of this verse as well. And it says, but first and most importantly, seek, aim at, strive after his kingdom and his righteousness, his way of doing and being right, the attitude and the character of God, and all these things will be given to you as well. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own, right? So we don't want to get caught up. We don't want to waste today with tomorrow's troubles, or we don't want to waste today with maybe something that happened yesterday. We want to live in the moment. We want to be present, and it's good word for today. So I pray that blesses you. I pray that encourages you. And I pray even just that, you'll sing that little song, God is not worried. So why am I worried? So I pray this blesses you. I pray this encourages you. And let's just keep our focus on him, right? Sing some songs, maybe open the word, pray a little bit, meditate on different things, different verses or different passages. We've got to stand strong, and we have to stand firm just in our faith, and not worry, not listen to those screams of the world, but really just be at his feet, be at peace, trusting and knowing that he is going to get us through whatever we're going through right now. He's going to see us to the other side of it. And the season that we're in is not going to last forever. There is an expiration date. At the end of the season, it's going to expire. So just remembering that. So I pray today would be a worry-free day, that tomorrow would be a worry-free day, but that our focus in our life and just our attention would be on the Lord and on his kingdom and on his goodness and his grace and his majesty and just all those good things that we need to be thinking about. So pray this blesses you, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.